Hey there, welcome back to True North Reviews. My name is Ryan, and today we are doing an album review, as we do here. Today we are talking about the sophomore record release from Bishop Briggs Champion. Bishop Briggs, aka Sarah Grace McLachlan, is a British musician, singer, and songwriter, not to be confused with the Canadian musician Sarah McLachlan. Bishop Briggs has been in the spotlight in the past with her single River, which made it all the way up to number 3 on the US alternative chart. I think it should have been a number 1 though, with its kick-ass production and forceful vocal performance. Wild Horses is another tune that benefited from the electronic style production that is on the track. Both of these songs, River and Wild Horses, found their way onto the debut album from Sarah in 2018, Church of Scars. A pretty average and middle-of-the-road album that didn't sustain the raw energy, power, or catchiness beyond the singles. Sadly enough, those singles, River and Wild Horses, were also already featured on an EP released a couple years prior to the debut. So with that redundancy and in turn a disappointment in mind, it's important to note that Bishop Briggs has never seemed like much of an album kind of artist to me. Definitely someone who has had more compelling singles. Another artist who is similar and goes hand in hand with Bishop Briggs's music is Kay Flay. She has the trap and electronic instrumentals with empowering and raspy vocals. Kay Flay, coincidentally, has co-written the title track on Champion, and she performs guitar on another song, as she provides most of the highlights on this album along with the songwriter and producer Joel Little. In fact, Kate Flay, Joel Little, and Bishop Briggs, they collaborate, they form a super team on a couple of the tracks on here, and hands down I'd have to say the best song on this project is the title track, Champion. It's not surprising that it is the lead single for this project, but what I love about it is it has this arena-ready chorus, and the lyrics are I really appreciate them because they're about loving yourself and they are so empowering, but not in a cliche way, because what grinds my gears more than anything else in a very optimistic, peppy song is the fact that it's been said a million times before. Another easy song suggestion for me to make on this album from Bishop Briggs comes with Jekyll and Hyde. The church organ to kick off this track is very misleading. I don't think you're going to be getting like a gospel track, because we have lots of variants to the vocal deliveries, a bold and potent tune as well. During the chorus, actually, Sarah gives like her best impression of an artist like Noosa before she shifts into an equally captivating and whispered post-chorus. Elsewhere on this record, the songs that I'm enjoying include My Shine, which supplies this release with some much-needed life. I also dig the bass line on the track Can You Hear Me Now? And Someone Else. I appreciate the subdued piano instrumental and the catchy chorus. Now, for the remainder of this album, much like the debut from Bishop Briggs, it is quite scant and ordinary. That's in part to the other producers that Sarah has enlisted on this album, like Johnny Coffer on the track I Still Love You. It's this interlude that kicks off this album. It really throws off the pacing right from the get-go, and I just feel like this track is holding back from elaborating on some musical ideas. It is an incomplete song that had potential for more, despite the warped piano, instrumental, and trap beat. The trap beat on I Still Love You is fitting when we look at the producer, Johnny Coffer, like I was saying. He has been known for producing the latest work from Fall Out Boy, and he has produced other tracks by Weezer like Feels Like Summer, as well as Beyonce's Freedom. Now, similar to the track I Still Love You, there's another song on this album that makes use of warped piano instrumentals. This track is entitled Tattooed on My Heart, and it reminds me quite a bit of the Alessia Cara EP from this year. It has a bit of an R&B tinge to the track, but what makes up for this track's boring musical ideas is how personal it is for Sarah, because she has plenty of tattoos, ones that she has gotten with her lover, ones to remind her of her lover, and she has come to terms with those. But the one that she still hasn't come to terms with is the one that is on her heart. that kind of metaphor or analogy. And that's the one that's hardest to deal with, and it's the one that she's waiting to dissolve, to go away, but until then, she's going to sing about it. Continuing with the personal lyrics on this record, there is another track called Lonely, which is about resisting temptation of Sarah's lover coming back. It has a bit of an underwhelming chorus to it that is repeated a few too many times. We have some swirling and gargantuan vocals on it, though. And it's not usually that the vocals on this record are poorly produced. It's usually the instrumentals that are over-compressed. The track entitled Wild is the prime culprit for this. It has a grimy trap instrumental, not to mention that the chorus is annoying and the bass line is disgusting. And then I guess the other issue I have with this record is that there are a handful of tracks that do attempt to strip back the instrumentation, make it more about a ballad. This record actually ends with a demo with I Tried. It's very raw and emotional with the take of the vocals. They kind of shake and quiver as Sarah has like this control over them, but they also shake because they're a bit of a demo quality. So overall for this record, I do like the melodies and the vocal performances on a lot of these tracks. I just can't stand that the production choices with the over-compressed instrumentals and this need to make alternative rock more like trap. I've been seeing that with a few artists over the past few years, like Imagine Dragons for one. Still, for me, there are two excellent songs on this album, Champion and Jekyll and Hyde. These two tracks feel like the songwriters struck lightning in a bottle. Unfortunately, Champion is another album from Bishop Briggs that has its creative success hinge on the singles yet again. Because other than the singles, this album is pretty standard and safe for alternative music. With a little too many inconsistencies in the production. And that is disappointing to me because the lyrical premise to this album could have been a saving grace. We had Sarah admitting to being worse than her lover at the beginning of it, letting go of a love even though that she knows deep down that she wants it. And then by the end of this record, she is feeling more confident and can move on. So yeah, that is an interesting premise. I just feel like it didn't pay off with the execution, even though each song revolves around similar topics of a breakup. I just don't feel like I'm engaging with the material as much as I should. I think it's solely because most of what is said on this album has been said before, and the perspective isn't really distinct or groundbreaking. It's also quite redundant and indistinguishable with many tracks off the K-Flay record that we got earlier in 2019. And honestly, if these two artists teamed up again, I wouldn't mind that. I just hope that they would weed out the mediocre songs and release more commanding and vigorous songs like the title track and Jekyll and Hyde. With all that being said, I am feeling a 5 out of 10 on this record. I'm a bit on the fence. There's just too many inconsistencies with it, even though there are some bright spots. There's the review of the new Bishop Briggs record. Make sure you sound off down below in the comments. Let me know what you think of this music. Leave a like. Subscribe if you're new in town. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a rockin' day.